On your screen right now is a scene from the funeral ceremony of late Ezinne Iyiegbu, mother of business mogul and showbiz star Obinna Iyiegbu, aka Obi Cubana. The event, which held at Oba, Anambra State, dominated the Nigerian social media from last week up until this moment. It attracted the high and mighty from all over the world, and these friends of the bereaved entrepreneur feted him with many eye-popping gifts, which included hundreds of cattle and cash gifts that ran into hundreds of millions. As you can see in the video, cash rained on him in bundles, attracting different shades of opinions and criticisms from different quarters. While some of his friends, while some of his critics think the EFCC and the FIRS should look deeper into the tax books of the Cubana conglomerate to ascertain the source of his stupendous wealth as displayed, others insist he has a case to answer, having broken Section 21 of the Central Bank of Nigeria Act of 2007 on the defacement of the Naira. On this note, I welcome you to today's live chat. I'm still your brother, Vincent. And with me today in the studio to do justice to this topic is our regular guest, a special guest anyway, who's become a regular voice now, a strong voice on matters concerning Ndigbo. And I'm talking about Dr. Paul Okoye, the President General of Ndigbo Royal Heritage. Dr. Paul, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Vin. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me again.
You're looking very bright this evening, Dr. Okoye. I'm sure you saw the video that has been trending since last week up to this moment of your brother Obi Cubana, Obinna Iyiegbu in Anambra State. People said he broke Section 21 of the Central Bank Act of 2007, which prescribed 6 months jail term or 50,000 naira fine for people who deface the naira. What's your take on this?
Well, just like you rightly said, my brother, because I'm from Anambra, and I don't want to talk and speak for other part of the Igbo nation, but I don't understand the law that Obi Cubana violated. Except if we are discussing annual jealousy, very good na so if that is what we are discussing, then Obi Cubana committed a crime. But if that's not what we are discussing, then the question is now Igbo, that's sempre all the days of our lives. And the HSMB, only when you about 1 naira pata, when you about 20 naira. So action me na Igbo, and I cancel the culture and tradition of Igbo. I cancel the culture and tradition of Igbo. I cancel what they are. When I can have Igbo. You see, there are so many things we have done in the Igbo nation that I think is madness. You see, when did I get Tangana? Born Tangana, but I will get also na Igbo, work at Pussy Igbo. On a Jalin Jalin, work at Pussy Jalin. When they yoke up, work at Pussy Yokapa. At the end of the day, the man becomes boring. And the woman forgets. Even now, I work out before they may before, I'm not before like. At the end of the day, both now. At the end of the day, what becomes boring. That was comes to. So the point is, Nanibo, I am a big my education. So, Obana say, no Obi Cubana, now was Lego Bobo go fair. On way by Lego. Manama Nandi carried in the Nanibo. Boy, especially in Anambra. Yeah, it could have been a theater. So what why we are castigating or trying to make a case out of nothing. I want to ask a very simple question. One day criticize Obi Cubana no Boleto. And when so many men of working zero last year of one. When they there for ostentatious display of wealth. Oluwaye Tonaba no Fabano. Why you can't old number of women? You can make also one codinal. Is that have we condemned them? We saw the Jagaban, Tinubu, the former governor of Lagos State.
Okay, Doc, hold it there. That's a very interesting point you're trying to raise there, Tinubu. Before we go ahead, I would like to bring in our sponsors, the sponsors of this program today, Cargo Worth Logistics, Alliance Logistics Limited, based in Lagos. We'll be back shortly.
Hello, my name is Ndigbo. Have you heard about the latest logistics in town? It's none other than Cargo Worth Alliance Logistics Limited. Cargo Worth Alliance Logistics Limited offers the best services such as air freight, sea freight, project cargo, and logistics. Our rates are competitive as we have promised to render efficient and reliable services to all our clients. To locate us at number 44 at WCA Washoga F&F Plaza D5. To visit our website, click on the link www.cargoworthalliance.net, the Facebook page www.facebook.com/cargoworth, on the Twitter, twitter.com/cargoworthalliance. Thank you. Don't forget to patronize this amazing company.
Thank you. You're welcome back. That was a message from our sponsors today, Cargo Worth Alliance Logistics Limited, Project Cargo, Air Freight, Sea Freight, other logistics services. The address is there on the screen, scrolling by. Okay, back to you, Dr. Paul. You were making reference to the former governor of Lagos State, the Jagaban of Bogo, Chief Bola Asiwaju, like they call him, Bola Tinubu. You were talking about his display or his use of bullion vans during the elections. Could you go ahead and make that point?
Exactly, that was what I was trying to say. Now, the Jagaban or Asiwaju Tinubu, which a former senator, a former governor, who sat on the economy of a state. We saw him with 2 billion. It's a news everywhere. The FCC did not go to interrogate him and ask him the source of his wealth. So where is the basis of discussing going to interrogate somebody who has not been in a government office for the source of his wealth? I mean, so an ostentatious display of wealth is an English language. If it does not exist, the terminology will not exist. I want you to tell me the rationale. Mokenaga Obulu 100 cars. So if you want to tell me now ego Obi Cubana you could have used it for other things. I would want to tell you that DG20 entourage of cars could have distributed it to poor people to use as drivers and make ends meet. Okay, use money to go and buy a Bentley. A Bentley is worth $550 million. Golia of moto. Ferrari. So Ferrari. But somebody use 180 and just go take Sarosa Ferrari to drive. So you see, when we go into discussion, I want to ask a question. Since when has it become a crime to be rich? You see, I think we constantly find ourselves in a situation of a victimization of the rich by the poor. Rich by the poor. I wouldn't want to understand. I want to understand why the discussion at all. Obi Cubana has never sat in any government office. He has never been accused of any crime. He's not tried by any court. He has no case pending anywhere on earth. So we are discussing a man who is clean, who is decent as every other Nigerians. And if we come to the eastern part of Niger, Obi Cubana Boni is the way Oshilink here, the way Ochoisilink here, many people do so many grievous things. You don't know what the mother meant to him. And when so many people have special attachment to certain people, and when they attach to their father, or when they attach to their mother, it could be he's trying to prove a point. But the point is, Obi Cubana, or one not below major, onwe oji eke wee kwa nne ndị ọ na-eme emelie because you see to create friendship demands sacrifice. Ọ bụrụ ịnakọta isi n'elu onwe ndụ onye inyere ịtụba anyị kwụbazie nne gị ka ụwa ju ọ ga-ele gele mba anụ jụrụ okpịa bụ ndị ọ na-enye enyelie. So we have to come to terms with these issues. What doesn't come from heaven? You have to work for it. I want to ask you a question. If you want to victimize Obi Cubana, how about Bishop Adeboye? How about Oladeko, whatever you call him, Oyedeko, who is building a private street with people had earned money? Those money are not his money. How about Adeboye? Ego to go private jet is not his money. Who is sitting on other people's suffering and sacrifice? How about the one of
yes, hold on here, Doc. But the point here is breaking the CBN regulations on the abuse of the currency of the naira. They were throwing. This guy took money spraying to a whole new level. Yeah, they weren't just spraying cash in notes. They were throwing bundles at him. I think in one of the instances, we saw him throwing. We saw him being playing football, more like football, with bundles of naira notes and even dollars. And that in Nigeria is said to be against the CBN rules, Act of 2007 about defacing the naira, which means he faces 6 months jail term or 50,000 naira fine. Do you believe he should have questions to answer before the law enforcement authorities?
I think that the CBN should have more serious job to engage themselves with. I don't know when you need the Obi Cubana ego. Oje Obi Cubana ego. Nani Igbo, amoyo okuzu. Ndi Anambra na agba boy. You can leave your house and go and stay under somebody for 7 years without receiving salary. I don't know of any other tribe that do that. In Imo State, in Igbo nation, you don't have to become a millionaire to be a millionaire. You can simply serve a millionaire to become a millionaire. You can simply serve the rich to become a rich. So that to be rich to become rich in the East. You don't have to have money to become rich. So my question is, onye ni lego maka ibi sikeri nne ademago obiana na affect brain in the same time.
They put on you.
Nanya ka nyosu oburo we show you Obi Cubana ego. Oje yo Obi Cubana ego. Obi Cubana help me. Oje gwale boy. I don't see sense in all these things. Obuna CBN should have time to come and look at what Obi Cubana is doing. Listen, my brother. During the NPN power. You see, because I always like to take you back to history. We had the minister of transport, Ibrahim Taher. He went to a suit with $3 of naira to university. We saw it. It was in the newspaper. So, Obuna, the Central Bank of Nigeria, should start probing people who use money that is not their own. By the time he finishes, he won't have time to go and see those who use money they earn judiciously. Obi Cubana work for his money. Let us start with people who abuse the money that they stole from the people. And I'm giving you names. A few days ago, Suleiman declared publicly that he was praying that COVID should not stop. That he bought his private jet during COVID.
You mean Apostle Suleiman of Omega Fire Ministries?
Apostle Suleiman. So the EFCC should start there. You should go and ask him because Apostle Suleiman has never worked. You should ask him what job did he do? What business did he operate to have money to buy a third private jet during the COVID time? You should go and arrest Bishop Oyedeko and ask Mr. Oyedeko, what job have you ever done in your life that you have 5 private jets and you are building an airstrip? You should go and arrest Oyedeko. You should go and get Chris Oyekilo. You should arrest them. There are so many people to arrest. You should arrest Jagaban. You should arrest Tinubu. These are people let us start from them. Because these are people who are sitting for money that is not their own. Let him go and arrest Paul, this one of, what do you call it, dunamis. They are there. They are there. So you can't tell me that somebody who has not abused any form of authority, he has never been in any form of government office, he worked for his money. And we have to go and arrest him or go and indict him and ask him, why did you make a show of Naira? For God's sake, by the side group, how do you give him money? You throw money to him. You don't come back to give him down. There are so many ways. And I've said that Ndigbo, during ceremonies and events, it's tradition. So if no occasion cannot stop with Obi Cubana,
okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Okoye. That's a very interesting one. But one thing here that's trending again today is a news item from another Nollywood personality, I think, which I can't remember his surname now, but he tweeted something. He said that Obi Cubana should be ashamed, because the roads leading to his place at Oba are in a very bad shape, and that the infrastructure in Oba should have, deserves more attention financially than, seeing him throw money around. And we've also, don't you think, by the way, that such funds could have been put to better use? Because I have argued in a different forum that instead of throwing money around, throwing cash around, people could actually, hoist memorial structures, maybe a hospital in the name of Mama Obi Cubana, and have his friends donate and then have their names on the plaque. Do you agree with this personality who said so?
You see, how to make certain things clear. That's what is called road conflict. Obi Cubana, since when has it become his responsibility to build road? Obi Cubana, is he a local government chairman? I don't understand most of the times the things we do, the things we say. Please just give me 1 second. Please come in. Just
that's okay. Viewers, please bear with us. We can afford to indulge Dr. Paul Okoye. Dr. Paul Okoye is on a special mission. He is the President General of Ndigbo Royal Heritage. That's a very heavy responsibility he has there. He receives calls from here and there and visitors from all over the world, wherever he is. So please do bear with him. And we're glad to have you back, Dr. Paul. I was just trying to explain to the people. Hello, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, I was trying to explain your busy schedule by virtue of your position as President General of Ndigbo. I know they'll be calling you left and right everywhere, but please give us this time and talk to us. So continue making your point. You were talking about Obi Cubana not having any responsibility to do roads,
yes,
right?
You see, there are two concepts. You see that the concept of socialism and the concept of capitalism. Now, what is the socialist saying? That the world should be in the hand of government who distributes it for us. The concept of capitalism says that man should be able to enjoy whatever is the remuneration of his hard work. The point is that whose responsibility is it to build the road? Whose responsibility is it to build the market? Is it the responsibility of Obi Cubana? I mean, the one that is speaking, sometimes when you say that people are educated illiterates, it seems I'm not insulting them. But once people delve into a profession that is not their own, they make a mess of themselves. Who is acting? We call him Bollywood, whatever you call him. It's not a profession, actor. So let us leave this semanticism. Obi Cubana, it's not owing anybody. He worked for his money. He made his money. You know how difficult it is to make money. Now listen, Ndigbo Stina, Obinna Iyiegbu, Akodo Bonife Jabogala. Now, in the life we live, Over in Igbo, there's a parable in Igbo that says, Mbe kuni enyi de duambe seke etu esi aluno. That he's tired of living. You know the elephant does not have a house. When he wants to sleep, we go to where the tree and live on the tree. That's how we rest. And sometimes you want to kill an elephant, you go to the tree, lean, cut it halfway. So when they come and lean, it will fall. It cannot, when it fall, it cannot rise up. You see that? So when you want to ask the tortoise, say, Mr. Tortoise, could you please teach me how to build a house? Because I'm tired of living outside, sleeping, leaning on the tree. The tortoise said, you see, Mr. Elephant, you want to build your own house? I say, it's very difficult, you know. Say, no, but if everyone is building, tortoise has a house. Even rat, everybody, how can elephant have his own house? He said, okay, if you go and bring a plant, you bring planting. If you bring zinc, you bring zinc. If you bring cement, you bring cement. By the time you finish counting for the elephant, the thing you need to build a house. Elephant said that is possible. Even without a house, just of his eye. Nothing has ever happened to him. So the question is, when somebody try to tell me that there are so many roads that are untied in Orifite, that is simply why Obi Cubana should not celebrate himself. I want to ask you, people organize birthday. What is the essence of organizing birthday? Organizing birthday, celebrating that we are going closer to your grave. Because each year that passes is each year of destruction, is each year of anarchy, is each year of going closer to your grave. So what are you celebrating? What people call party. People call the whole world, come and say 1 year celebration, 50 years celebration, and 50 years marriage anniversary, and all these things we have around. So the point is, why should we dive into advising Obi Cubana how to use his hard-earned money? If you want to beg him money, you go and beg him money. There are so many people doing so many type of things. If you want to talk about cultural orientation, that is a different argument. If you want to tell me Obi Cubana, people can say what he did and force themselves to go and do evil things to make work. I want to tell you that there are people that say what Obi Cubana did. You will force them to work harder to make money. So you don't have to look at what Obi Cubana did from only the negative aspect of it. He has to go and build road. He is trying. No. Obi Cubana did not. We didn't see a video where he killed somebody to make money. So I see all these things as jealousy. When actually they go let him work hard for money.
Exactly, but Doc, there is this saying that people who work hard and earn their money the hard way do not throw money around in such a manner.
You see, my argument is different. My argument is that if we talk about the principle of justice, if we talk about the principle that everybody is free, if we talk about the principle of liberty, if we talk about the principle of freedom, it means Obi Cubana work for his money. He is free to use his money the way he likes. If you want to ask me how would I use my own, it's a different thing. If you now call me as a consultant and say, please, I want you to come and consult Obi Cubana on how to make his money, the first thing I will say is, I'll bring them Obi Cubana, join them together, raise their money, and go and change the president of Nigeria. I mean, there are so many ways you can use your money. But my problem is vilifying somebody on how he used his money. And I'm saying, and I repeat, what about the governors that rule this country? What kind of life have they lived? How about the private jets flying around? I mean, Obi Cubana, the money they spend, is it enough to buy one private jet? When we have so many demented idiots who have never done anything in their life, driving 3-4 private jets. There are so many Nigerians who have not done anything. There are so many pastors living in porch houses, many bishops, not even the Catholics. I mean, I want you to tell me who wants to live a moderate life in Nigeria today. If we are discussing societal norms, it becomes universal. My problem is the vilification of one man, singling out one man for destruction because he organized the burial ceremony of his mother. All of us want to do what Obi Cubana did. If we don't have money to do that, we should stop being jealous. I want to celebrate my mother the way he did his own. If I don't have enough cash, oh well, I should content myself with taking care of my mother the way. I told my father, once when I quarreled with my father, I said, Papa, you cannot afford to live like Azikiwe. Because when Azikiwe was trekking from Onitsha to Calabar to go to school, my father was fucking women in the village. He was there eating his pounded yam morning, afternoon, and evening. So he cannot afford to go and live like Azikiwe because you did not make the sacrifice he made. He took you to go to US to go to school. You didn't make that sacrifice. You wouldn't know how Obi Cubana got this money. So you don't have to come and tell me how to spend this money. My problem is the simplification. That's my problem. I'm not trying to say that is the best way to spend money. I've not said that. If you give me the money as an investment analyst, as a financial officer, probably I may use it differently. But that is the way. Now, why are people not saying another thing? He gave 300 people in his village. 300 people. He gave them 1 million. Why are we not enforcing on that fact? If you go to Newi, every family in Newi has a millionaire. Why are we not discussing that? I'm from Akuzu. If you go to Cameroon, every motor park, every electrical park in Cameroon belongs to somebody from my town. The market in Cameroon, in Douala, was built by a man in my town and handed over to the government. Why are we not discussing? Yes, the market in Douala, yes. It's called Ajida. You know, there's a convention in Cameroon. You cannot do anything except the French people allow you to do that. But my people chased away all the auto plant, all the auto selling motor parts businesses in Cameroon and took over. SETA was the people that were selling motor parts, everything Briscoe. All of them closed and went back to their country. Wow. The largest motor spare parts in Cameroon belongs to people from my town. You can't watch these people did apprentice for 7 years. All the people in my town that have their motor spare parts that are millionaires, they didn't spend money. Somebody picked them at a very young age, took them to Cameroon. Most of them did served this man called Ajires the Maka. Many of them served him as apprentices. He brought all of them to Cameroon. So it's a multiplier effect. So when they bring you, bring somebody. That's how it happens. And you go from Kuba to Douala, from Douala to Young, everywhere you go. All the important motor spare parts and the electrical parts in Cameroon belongs to people from my town. You don't really fight them. You didn't do what they did.
You make me get envious of you, Anambra, especially your Okozo brothers. Well, on that note, I'll say congratulations. But talking about Anambra State, in Anambra, there is a law, an existing law on the conduction of funeral ceremonies, which says that I think a dead body is not supposed to stay in the mortuary for more than 2 months without being buried. And there are also clauses about control or moderation of expenditure for funeral events in Anambra State. But we can see also that Obi Cubana actually flagrantly, broke these laws in Anambra, and nothing has happened to him. Does it mean that the big fish, break through the net and only the small fish get caught by the net?
Who made that law? Governor Biano, yes. He was in Obiano. Willie should advise himself first. Look at the airport he used. Called it Cat Airport. Have you seen anything like that on earth? Go to Onitsha. Onitsha can be likened to a psychiatric home. Money in Anambra State is enough to build the whole of Africa. So Willie should do the very simple thing. Let him start by organizing local government before start making law for Anambra people, how to bury their father, how to bury their mother. Who is he? Who is Willie Obiano? Before he became governor, who was he? Let us discuss the things that are important. It's not, you see, these are opportunists. These are people, these are nobodies who found themselves in the palace of power. If you want to talk about, if you want to talk about social ethics, then let's address it globally. Then we start with Mbaka, we start with all the people that have adoration ground. We go and scrutinize them and know what they're doing with the money they are getting there. We start with so many other people. We don't stop vilifying businessmen that are suffering to earn their money. Some of them went through hell. You know what it means to be a businessman? It means that sometimes you come home, there is money but you won't eat because you are waiting to go and clear a goose in the pot. It means going to Lagos with luxurious bus. when you can afford to take a private jet or fly. It means serving yourself. It means sacrifice. To become a successful businessman is not something that happens in a jiffy. There are roads to that. There are pathways to success. So before we be enough, you start telling us how to do funeral. Let him do the things, little things he can do. Let him start by educating himself. Let him look at Anambra State. We are going through election now. Look at the crisis on top that is going on. He's living in Anambra after 8 years. What is he leaving behind? My brother, the problem is the church. Part of the problem in Igbo nation is the church. Why do the church have to dive into everything? Tell you how to bury your father, how to bury your mother. I've been living in Europe for the past 30 years. The Catholic Church does not give you an order. But when you go to the east, you go to Anambra, the one stupid priest will tell you cannot marry A. If you marry A, you can no longer take communion. If you take communion, they will go and humiliate your mother and father. These are rubbish. Let them start by educating themselves. Let's start doing things.
You raised a good point. I remember reading something like that written by Chimamanda Adichie, the experiences she encountered during the burial funeral ceremony of her mother, late Dr. Grace Adichie. If you remember, she actually pinpointed what happened, what she has to go, what her family went through in the hands of the church, the Catholic Church, before I've experienced that too, not just in the Catholic Church, it's everywhere. But we're still talking about Obi Cubana, and if you're just joining us, we have Dr. Paul Okoye, the President General of Ndigbo Royal Heritage, in the studio here, doing justice to this topic. And we still have to hear from our sponsors, Cargo World Alliance Logistics. Then we come back and continue on this interesting conversation.
Hello, my name is Ndigbo. Have you heard about the latest logistics in town? It's none other than the Cargo World Alliance Logistics Limited. Cargo World Alliance Logistics Limited offers the best services such as air freight, sea freight, project cargo, and logistics. Our rates are competitive as we have promised to render efficient and reliable services to all our clients. To locate us at number 44 at Oshora F&F Plaza D5. To visit our website, click on the link www.cargoworldalliance.net, the Facebook page www.facebook.com/cargoworld, on the Twitter, twitter.com/cargoworldalliance. Thank you. Don't forget to patronize this amazing company.
Thank you for holding on. You're welcome back to the studio. And in the studio is Dr. Paul Okoye, President General of Ndigbo Royal Heritage, NIROH, talking about the abuse of currency, people's speculations about Obi Cubana's flamboyant and lavish funeral for his mom. Now, giving Obi Cubana a credit, another commentator here argued that those who don't like the concept of the flamboyant Igbo funeral should change the channel if they don't like the program. In other words, he argued further that a group of people that rose from 20 pounds to billions of naira and dollars, despite tailor-made unfavorable economic policies against these people, deserve to spend their money the way they deem fit. I'm sure this is your line of argument, Dr. Cole.
Very perfectly. Anybody talking to Obi Cubana, I will come with some of the greatest lawyers to fight him. Let them stop that rubbish. If we want to talk about ethics, it has to be global. If somebody doesn't have to be streamlined for the social oblification. A lot of things are wrong. So if you want to go into social evolution or revolution, let's do it globally. Let's talk about what is happening in the church. Let's talk about the priest. Let's talk about our girls. There are so many things that are going on. So don't tell me that what is destroying our community. How about 419? How about the Nitilegwu? People like Oliver the Cock, there are so many things. We celebrate wish. If you want to have spoken so many about the concept of the wish getting elevated further. But we have to address it globally. It cannot start to be Cubana because nothing happened for those people that did it before him. And I've said The way to success is rocky. If I take go easy, so rapidly big boys can enjoy Yegova. If I take easy, these are big boys. If you need their help, go and get them. But these people cannot expect somebody who suffered all the days of his life. I remember back when he lived here. You know how many people? I mean, you know how many people that suffered in their life and not even enjoy the money they suffered for? Let's issues that touches our society. Let's look at the people that are policy makers that are not making policy, like Obinna is just spoken about. Why is the most important policy how to regulate imposing an Igbo? Why is the policy not how to clear the gutters so that the cholera will not come? Why is the policy not how to give free education? Why does he not want to concern himself with doing good things or harnessing the money in Anambra State for investment? P2B ruled Anambra State for 8 years. The only thing he left in Anambra State is beer factory, hero, whatever you call it, after 8 years. But go to Abuja, you have the largest supermarket. Go to Lagos, you have the largest supermarket. Why do this? Why do you sell these people? The airport that this one built for you people, not me, because I can never agree with the kind of people that come to rule Anambra State. I've never had in my life, you call an airport, cargo airport. What kind of fatness is that? That airport, nobody's loved in there. Just a means, a way of taking money, a way of stealing money. And somebody like that is trying to go anticipate it. So somebody not really go. Somebody nearly go at a kind of poor. Somebody can laugh. If you want to correct how about somebody who is eating from the dustbin? You see, go and correct and say, don't eat from the dustbin. Listen, I'm saying, there's principle of that justice that guarantees freedom. It has to be guaranteed for the rich, for the poor. If the poor does not spend, it's because he does not have. Simple. If you know I am a ban, my father will tell you, go and come back. When you go, they go and look around. This person will get young woman. Pastor. This person, young mom, can he take care of my child? Nobody wants to give away his child to a pauper. So, my brother, ego the no good.
I agree with you, Dr. Okoye.
You see, money is not for everybody. No. You get angry. You now have to start looking for money. And if you don't get money, Ndigbo say na okike na eketo onu oba sinakala. Okike na so leave it. That's nature.
That's fine. That's fine, Dr. Okoye. You speak with so much conviction that Obi Cubana is a good man, and you have condemned P2B and the current governor, really Obinna. You've accused him of doing practically nothing for Anambra State. But we have seen posters of this Obi Cubana, making the rounds. People seem to be calling on him to come and contest for the post of governorship of Anambra State. With the way you have spoken so much in his support, are you prepared to see, would you like to see a governor, Obinna Iyiegbu, any soon for Anambra State?
No, because you see, leadership involves a lot of things. Leadership involves administration. One of the most difficult cause is managing human beings. You see, human relations is something that has to be managed and so on. So you see, one thing is to be a good businessman, a successful businessman, and one thing is to be a good administration. I want to say, with absence of insight, that most successful businessmen does not make successful administrators because they live in a different world. They live in a world where you don't bargain. They live in a world where they are focused, they are objective. In the world of administration, sometimes you have to dialogue, sometimes you have to compromise, sometimes you need to be your own person, sometimes you have to be your own person. So leadership involves a whole lot of things. I don't think Obi Cubana, because he's a successful businessman or a philanthropist, because what we are discussing today is Obi Cubana, we are not discussing the philanthropic aspect of Ndigbo or business in Anambra State, which is the Oga master, servant and master relationship of Ebasala Oga Boy or Settlage. No, when Ebasala Oga Boy else will ship we send you away. I don't see any other race that you can go and serve for 7 years, and after 7 years, we will be proud to settle you. Again, Anambra is your settle. That's our pride. Your pride as an Anambra man is these are my boys. I don't want to discuss myself, but when I was in Padova, every single Monday morning, everybody will come and keep his car and take products to go to market. People that are owing me, they are more than 100. I never want to go and tell them, my friend, give me your money back. I can go and draw them. But the mentality of Anambra in the business is this to put them worker. Because that's your big man, that's your richness. And then they down and go big man. Who more calls to put that? Nyakan the signal. Ogayala Jalimba, Anu Julopia, Bundo Nenye. It's not, he didn't pick those money along the road. He has suffered to make those people who they are. And today they come to pay compensation. They come to pay homage. There were people that pay homage in different ways. Politicians pay homage with stolen money. How about somebody that picked you from nothing? Most of these people that came to spend money never could have become anybody, anything in their life without Obi Cubana. So the point of Obi Cubana, a successful businessman and philanthropist, to be separated from the issue of Igbo governor. Again, if I meet Obi Cubana, I'll tell you don't go there because these people are evil. The politicians of Anambra, they are all evil. There's no human being among them. They are all eaters of flesh. But there's not one among the politicians of Anambra that's the normal human being. All of them, they are evil. We have produced the worst set of criminals in government office. So I would ask Obi Cubana not to near that place because they would discredit him, they will mess him. These people are evil. Do you know anybody among them that's a human being or that thinks about the people? So he should live his life, build what he's building. He has given 300 people 1 million. No governor can do that. He did not break record only with the funeral of his mother. He broke record of philanthropism. Now, in the next 5 years, there will be another 300 millionaires that are going to make another 300 millionaires. I want to see that happen. That's my joy. That's why I am a pragmatic Anambra man. Let them stop the rubbish they are saying. Oh, they are not done.
Thank you very much, Dr. Okoye. Calm down. Now that you have mentioned it, let's look at Anambra state politics. In a couple of weeks now, Anambra people will be going to the polls to elect a new governor that will take over from your friend Willie Obiano. Now, we have seen a lot of litigations upon litigations, court orders, against court orders. For instance, the bright star that we saw, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, who was the APGA, or who is the APGA candidate, a court order from Jigawa State has nullified his candidacy. Same thing for PDP, where you have two candidates, Valo Zibo and Senator Ugochukwu. There's so much going on in Anambra State, and there seem to be court orders against too many court orders flying around in this state. Why is it always like this in Anambra State? Why is it that we can't?
The answer is simple and correct. Big boys do too much. But it's that's Anambra we are discussing. I think I've said somewhere people came to tell me who I why did you say that? I say the richest state on earth is Anambra. I'm not saying Igbo on earth because there's no other place to have concentration of rich people. These two put too much. You see, so in Anambra, that is part of, that is one thing that the current Ohaneze president said that made me to fall in love with him. He said that we are unrepentant Republicans. We are not over the one more in those. We are not a place where somebody starts and shout others. I mean, because in every place you go in Anambra, before you pass 3 families, there's a millionaire. So you see, and you see that. That's the concept. So the point is, it has to be like that because there are so many big boys in Anambra. There are so many people who cannot control. Again, Soludo is a fine scholar. I respect him as an academic, and I respect his job as administrator because Soludo recapitalized Nigerian Bank. But that does not mean that he's going to perform as Anambra State governor. And remember, Soludo is the candidate of the Catholics, he's the candidate of the church. Because all along, the people who decide who's going to lead Anambra is the Catholic Church. And there's a conflict. You know, I said this is not the person who say it. But the word, I tell you, I don't give a damn. I'm not a politician. I'm not going to go and beg them money. They are not going to come and tell me not to stay in my office in Italy. So I tell them things as they are. If you talk about, can I tell you what I want to tell you about? I don't give a damn. I tell you the truth. Nobody will tell you this truth. The problem is the church. Because Soludo is the candidate of the church. You see that? Now, for the past 19 years, all the people that have ruled Anambra State were presented and sponsored by the Catholic Church. So there's a rebellion. Others are saying, why must it be always you? I asked the bishop, I said, how can't you give us a normal human being to rule Anambra? All the people you have foisted on Anambra people are criminals. They are dupers. I don't see any responsible person that has ruled Anambra State. So there's rebellion everywhere. They don't want another Catholic because the Catholic Church has built around Soludo. Soludo all along has been going around saying it's going to be him. And Obiano, because he's been there for 8 years, want to manipulate the central power. Now look at what is happening here. I don't give a damn telling you this. You see, when you go around and see the level of grassroots, I don't want to call it support, manipulation that goes around. You know, the governor controls even the market association. Every governor in Imo, in Anambra, you know where they control even the market women. They decide who is going to be chairlady or chairman in the market association. So the thing is so complicated that it looks almost difficult for an outsider to come in. So how do you do that? If you don't allow me to participate, I scatter. That is what is happening. Probably the tendency is that if they want to go through a normal election, Soludo will win. So you stop Soludo before it gets on the electoral box. That's it. And there are so many big boys who did this. This small boy I talked about was a first station. He was the person that stopped Soludo. Soludo has gone to court to get an injunction to stay of execution. And they have gone back to court to get another stay execution. And you know what Nigeria is? You remember ABN and the Nzeriba and the Abiola saga. What transpired? Yes. It's likely going to become another episode like that. So nobody cares. I'm not optimistic that Soludo is going to perform any miracle. He is, like I said, a fine scholar. He was a fine administrator because I give him credit for the capitalization of Nigerian banks. But there's no conviction. I look at the powers that are bringing him into power. Those powers, they brought Obi. Obi was a mess. In 8 years, he could not organize local government elections. They brought Willie Obiano. Willie Obiano was another mess. We have not had local government election in Anambra State for the past 19 years. So why would I clap hands for Peter Obi or Willie Obiano or the candidate that brought them? I want you to tell me why. Every month, the federal government of Nigeria sends money for all the local governments. Every month. Has anybody gone to ask Willie Obiano, the money they are sending to you, where is it? Those money meant for all local government chairmen. Where did you keep those money? Did anybody ask Peter Obi what he did with the money for 80 years? So when you come and tell me Peter Obi was a good president, I want to tell you what is the parameter, what's the yardstick, which benchmark are you judging Peter Obi for me? Which benchmark? You tell me that somebody who did not organize local government election in Anambra State want to come and become vice president of Nigeria. I say I disagree with that. That is why I had this rubbish about Igbo presidency or not. If I think who is going to be a president, I will see his track record. He's going to come and put Nigeria. I say, let's go. But don't come and tell me another person who has stolen the Igbo people dry. People like Ojuzo Kalu, they want to come and rule Nigeria. On what basis? Iwanyang that received contract to build all the roads in Igbo nation. They gave him because he's an Igbo man. He didn't build one road. He wanted to become president of Nigeria. I'll ask you why. He will
okay, Doc.
Nigeria will go back to the beat. Leave that rubbish. For God's sake, let's be honest ourselves.
Fine. Let's maintain our focus on Anambra State, because I know there is so much to talk about. If we have to, go the, take it around the southeastern states. You mentioned those names of those politicians as betrayers. But now, let's get the position of Ndigbo Royal Heritage, NIROH, on the forthcoming positions of Anambra State. Would you be supporting any particular candidates in the forthcoming Anambra elections?
In the meantime, no. Ndigbo Royal Heritage worldwide has not chosen anybody or decided to support anybody in the forthcoming election in Anambra State. Because in the meantime, nobody has convinced me or convinced NIROH worldwide that they are really out for Anambra people. It's the same recycling of politicians. It's the same in my own opinion. There's supposed to be a generational shift. It cannot be business as usual. Because the fight is to share the loot. Because Anambra State is wealthy. The one that is coming out of Neo, everywhere you see there are markets. So that's the fight. The fight is not to make the nation better. I have told you, go to Onisha, go to Enugu, go to Nnewi, Veen. You cannot travel from Oka to Enugu. It may take you 3 hours. That's a road of less than 50 kilometers. It could take you 3 hours. So I don't see what to celebrate. I don't see anything convincing. It's the same old people that I see around Ubas. There are 3 Ubas contesting this election. 3 Ubas. Explain that to me.
3 brothers.
3 Ubas contesting governorship of Anambra State. Is it a property of Uba family?
But one of the Ubas is not related to the other Ubas. That's Ifeanyi Uba. Is not related to Chris Uba. And
go and listen to the video made by Koskaris. All that the same. Ubas is a concept. I use the language Ubas as a concept. But how do you not? Okay, remove one Uba. You are not with 2 Uba. So if
you Ubas from the same mother.
You cannot have 2 Uba. I cannot compromise and say, okay, my brother, go, let me stay back. What are we saying? What are we saying? There has to be a generational shift. We have to start all over again. There has to be a rethinking of the Igbo nation, starting from Anambra State. Because if you fix Anambra, you have fixed the Igbo nation. If you fix Anambra, you have fixed the Igbo nation. If you get a governor, a human being to govern Anambra, the Igbo nation picks up immediately. In the meantime, I'm not seeing anything like that. I'm not seeing anything like that. If a Mecca or a Peter will leave so that we will not probe him. It's not put Willie to govern Nigeria or govern Anambra State. You put Willie there so that we will not probe him. Now, Willie Obiano wants now to put somebody that will not probe him. That's the fight. So nobody, you see, sometimes when I say, don't discuss Nigeria and don't discuss Buhari for me. Now, I said it, let me repeat it again. This one you call your governor in Anambra State, you understand that he has 1,080 advisors. I want you to tell.
You mean Willie Obiano? Dr. Okoye seems to be having a network challenge from his end. Seem to have lost him, and okay, we still have him around, but it seems we lost him to a network challenge. We pray he comes back and concludes his thoughts. Since we are going to be concluding this in the next 6 minutes, I pray Dr. Okoye comes back to round off on his deposition.
No.
Oh, okay. Glad to have you back, Dr. Okoye. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry. You see, so I was saying...
You were saying something on fix Anambra, you have fixed the Southeast, and you have fixed the nation. Well, we have less than 5 minutes to go. You have fixed Nigeria, yes. That's not far from the truth. We have less than 5 minutes to go, and I would like you to weigh in on the arrest of Chief Sunday Igboho of the Oduduwa movement, popularly known as Chief Sunday Igboho. His arrest at Cotonou, Benin Republic, a few days back is actually generating a lot of issues around. Just like we have our Nnamdi Kanu in the DSS custody, there is an effort by the federal government to extradite Sunday Igboho from Benin Republic. What's your take on it as president, as a leader of Ndigbo Royal Heritage?
You see, I've said that we cannot keep Nigeria by all these people. First, I have said insistently that they are not honest. But that said, who is Igboho? If we want to go and look at Igboho, we look at his residence, we look at his academic profile, we look at his CV. Who do we see? We see a man who managed to finish secondary school. And you want to tell me that this man can fix Nigeria? I have my doubts. Because you see, experience is what happens to us with time. Now, when these people woke up, I've discussed this issue so many times. I think we're having a problem with the audio.
But I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Fine.
So now
please go ahead. In 2 minutes.
When you pick up arms against a government, you have drifted. Anywhere on earth, it has nothing to do with Igboho. It has nothing to do with Kanu. It has nothing to do with anybody on earth. You can't just fight in Abu Dhabi. You can't just fight with Nicaragua. So there are two contending powers: the power of Igboho and the power of the federal government of Nigeria. So if the power of the federal government of Nigeria supersedes that of Igboho, who were? Why do you complain? Why did Igboho take arms? To pull down the government of the federal government of Nigeria. And
Igboho took arms to defend his people against Fulani herders that come to kill and maim.
We still continue to say these things. And I've said my opinion, I've said it so many times. The first person to condemn Fulani herdsmen is me, Paul Okoye. But if we do the right thing the wrong way, it becomes wrong. The point is that you cannot put arms in the hands of people who are not licensed or certified to manage arms. This is the locus of my argument. I have never and will never and can never support herdsmen. I will never support the killing going on in the north. It started in the north. But I asked a question during our last broadcast. I asked, they started doing Obasanjo. Why did he not declare them terrorist organization? He did not. Obasanjo did not. Obasanjo.
But it wasn't this bad. It wasn't this bad during Obasanjo's government. I think it was only Sharia that started during Obasanjo.
Listen, the problem is the social media that magnify everything. War had been the same thing. The war in Iraq, we saw it live. So we took it as a different thing. It's the same war that people have been fighting everywhere. People die every day. During Goodluck Jonathan, the campaign was taken to a different dimension. We saw the wife of Barack Obama, the hypocrite, carrying the bring back my girls. And I want to ask you, since when have blacks become the girls of Obama's wife? Does Obama care about the black man? It's so hypocrisy. Does the wife of Obama care about you and me? It's so hypocrisy. They are all politics, but the black man does not want to answer. So the point is, there are killings. Nigeria is passing probably the worst moment of this nation as a country. There are killing everywhere. But that cannot in any way justify the taking up of arms. My brother, certain things have to be very clear. The law is one. Whenever you pick gun, you have challenged the institution called government. What is government? Government is that person that says don't do this and you don't do that. Whenever there are two people who are saying don't do this, there is no government. It's the generation into anarchy. If you want us to take up, I'm in a place I can discuss certain things because I have material to discuss that. I can show you the law. You see,
we don't have enough time now, Dr. Okoye. We're out of time.
If you like, we can discuss it. And I don't see anybody that can go and sit down and read a book of 2,000 pages for fun. What I discuss sometimes is law. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with me. Igboho violated the law. Simple. Today, he has been caught up. You see, or you accept as a government, or you accept as a constitution, the fact that Jagaban violated the law does not mean that if I violate it, I should go free. The fact that the Fulani herdsmen violated the law, all of them have violated the law. Shekau has been killed. The head of what is it called? Boko Haram was killed. I think what is his name? If I remember again, the former president was dead.
Under Yaradua, you're talking about Yusuf, right? Okay. At this point, Doc, let me interrupt you so we can take our final message from our sponsors and then call it a day on the program. We'll be back shortly.
Hello, my name is Anambra. Have you heard about the latest logistics in town? It's none other than Cargo World Alliance Logistics Limited. Cargo World Alliance Logistics Limited offers the best services such as air freight, sea freight, project cargo, and logistics. Our rates are competitive as we have promised to render efficient and reliable services to all our clients. To locate us at number 44 at WCA Washoga F&F Plaza D5. To visit our website, click on the link www.cargoworldalliance.net, the Facebook page www.facebook.com/cargoworld, on the Twitter, twitter.com/cargoworldalliance. Thank you. Don't forget to patronize this amazing company.
Welcome back, Doc. We have exhausted our time for today's program, and I must thank you very much for creating time out of your busy schedule to talk to us today on these all-important issues. I'm quite sure that our viewers have got a lot of takeaways from what you said about Obi Cubana and the things going on in Nigeria. I'm sure you have a lot more to say on Sunday Igboho, but I would leave that for maybe whenever we have time again to come together so that we can watch the development and then you can always weigh in with your valuable opinion. So on this note, I want to thank you very much, Dr. Okoye, for your time.
Thank you, Gia.
And viewers, thank you. I remain your brother, Vincent. Thanks. Do join us again next time.